What's up YouTube, Capital G here, checking out a new interesting trap card that just got revealed. This is coming out in the 20th Anniversary Legendary Collection. It's called Dark Sacrifice, and it says, when your opponent activates a card or effect that would destroy a card or cards on the field, negate that effect, then send one level 3 or lower dark monster from your deck to the graveyard. Before I even jump into this card, is it me or is that the Evil Swarm virus in the art of this card? Because I looked at other cards like Creeping Darkness and Evil Swarm Origin, and I was like, yeah, that definitely seems like the Evil Swarm virus, or at least it looks incredibly similar. But this card actually reminds me very much of something like Fiend Griefing. It's a card that can not only just serve as a pretty good utility card on its activation alone, but it also dumps one of your dark cards into the graveyard. A lot of people immediately talked about the applications of this with Burning Abyss. They're like, oh, Cap G, you can send maybe a Skarm or a Graph or a Seer, a Farfa to the graveyard, get those utility effects off and stop one of your opponent's cards, and that's fine. But the way that Burning Abyss have kind of evolved over the past year or so, they don't really run any trap cards. They don't really run that many spells except Light of Sekka. So the way that they kind of operate is not really going to be conducive of running any type of protection cards in your deck, especially considering that if you did activate this, you're now locking yourself out of extra copies of Light of Sekka throughout the duel, and now you don't even have Fairy Tale Snow to potentially banish this card to, you know, get it out of your graveyard. I actually think that there's another level 3 kind of focused dark archetype where this card could potentially make waves or, you know, be useful in, and that is actually in Phantom Knights and PKs. And, you know, technically, I guess you could run Burning Abyss and PKs in one deck. You guys remember the old PK Fire deck that ran them together as kind of, you know, two little engines that work together in harmony. I think that Phantom Knights would benefit from this card a lot more than Burning Abyss, because when you think of Phantom Knights, number one, they're having a huge resurgence in play thanks to the new Link monster, the Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardiche. But then also, like, PKs not only want to be dumped into the graveyard just like the Burning Abyss monsters because they have effects that can activate where you can banish them, search other cards, etc., etc. But then you think about the fact that, like, this deck plays, if you're playing pure Phantom Knights or even a hybrid version, you're probably playing multiple copies of one of their best defensive cards in the Phantom Knights of Fogblade. That's a card that you definitely want to get early on the board. You want to keep it protected. You want to use it to stop your opponent's cards, but generally your opponent might try to out those with things like Nightmare Phoenix or Twin Twister. They might try to pop your monsters with, you know, a Nightmare Cerberus, and this card stops all of those activations. This can also stop anybody out there who's still running kind of the old school board wipes. If they're running things like Regeki, Torrential Tribute, etc., etc., those cards aren't very popular anymore. However, you have to keep in mind, if your opponent tries to destroy something on their side of the field, I don't know, maybe like a Metaphors Pendulum card or something like that, it can actually work. This is also a potential counter to, I mean, I don't know how many people are still running Ghost Ogre. It seems to be one of the hand traps that has fallen out of favor, but it also can stop that as well. I do kind of wish that this was a counter trap, thus your opponent would not be able to, you know, respond to it in I guess most situations. But there are enough general like cards out there that are worth stopping, mainly thanks to the Nightmares, mainly thanks to Twin Twister, you know, or if you play against like Altergeist or Sky Striker, they're going to have the Afterburner, they're going to have the Altergeist Protocol, and this will be able to stop all of those cards. So I think that this card could see niche play, but not really in Burning Abyss. Burning Abyss have kind of evolved past the point of really running traps as of right now, more or less in kind of like Phantom Knights. And if you want to run Burning Abyss in Phantom Knights, then that's fine, but not really in a pure version of the Burning Abyss deck, because right now it's not really where BAs are at. But whatever you guys think of Dark Sacrifice, leave it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.